Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 26. I wanted to call it an expedition trial, but that is certainly not what we're doing anymore. Sorry if you're missing out on those. But here today we are playing Akshan Vi. We're looking to take advantage of Desert Duel. And so that was at least how the deck kind of started. I was looking to play with Akshan and play with Vicar and Bruiser and play with Caitlyn. And then we would use the strike ability off of the Desert Duel, but there just wasn't like quite enough going on. There isn't enough like strike stuff in the game to make this stuff super relevant. I've been tooling around with Nasus. I've been tooling around with Renekton. I've been looking at LeBlanc and the reputation stuff. It's just not there. There's not enough of it, but I'm still happy enough with Desert Duel to keep it kind of included in this deck. And then we've kind of branched away from that idea. And so the thing that I was liking out of this was our usage of Vicar and Bruiser, generating these paydays. And so it's like, well, if we're going to be using these paydays with Akshan and the Bruiser, let's come out and try to maximize that. And so we have upgraded a little bit. We're playing the Profiteers to generate the Lucky Finds. We're playing the physical card Payday to generate some more Lucky Finds as well. And then if we're going to be generating all of these Lucky Finds, how are we going to take advantage of them? And that is where we swing back into Vi. And so there are quite a few Akshan Lee Sin decks running around these days. I don't like playing Lee Sin, is what it is, but I do like playing Vi, and it works out quite nicely as we've seen her. Catch elusive, catch overwhelm, catch atrocities. We're going to be using the paydays to try and give her overwhelm, and so they do, level up our Vi a little bit quickly. If we're in the leveling up stages, that's a big boost there. Otherwise, we can use them to try and give her overwhelm, and then we also have the more classic way to give her overwhelm in the Absolver. Otherwise, fairly standard collection of cards. We're playing the Mystic Shots as the catch-all removal spell, Thermogenic Beams as our get something big removal, Station Archivist as a bit of value and interactivity. And then the only thing I'm not really happy about here are the Aspiring Chronomancer and Rockhopper. It's like we need some early game stuff. We have the Action, we have the Treasure Seeker. These are all great, but then everything kind of like falls off from that point. And so Rockhopper is kind of a concession that we need a bit of interactivity. We need a bit of landmark generation for our shaped stones. Aspiring Chronomancer is still just a reasonably statted card where the predicts are always useful. And so if everything goes according to plan, we'll just play Action on turn 2 every time. If that's not something that we're able or allowed to do, then we have a couple of fallback 2-drops out there to help us get through our day. And so kind of like general game plan wise kind of thing, we're going to try and get some early interactivity on the board, try to chunk in some early damage. Nobody wants to be blocking actions in the early game. And then we're going to look to close out with a big overwhelm from Vi, coming with the absolvers and the various paydays to help her get leveled up. So that is it for the deck. As far as the pay-to-win lifestyle goes, I think we're going to go full premium today. I know we need to level up this Rite of Negation. I think that's the only one that we have left in here as we scroll through just a little bit. Oh, fuck. No, I know. We can't go full premium because this stupid Desert Duel card. It was like, I even double-checked on it. There's this ownership drop-down that I've never seen before. And I thought, man, maybe I just missed it because I didn't click the little arrow. No, you can't turn it premium. Riot officially announced they do not want my money. And so we can't go full premium because the Desert Duel is not here. If we were playing Hearthstone, we'd be super upset because our coin wouldn't be premium. But here we can get this right upgraded. Maybe it technically counts. Oh, is that an epic? Am I going to have to get more dust? No, we have enough. Okay. What a dumb card. I don't like this card anyway, so I've probably just taken it out. Just get out of my deck, stupid card. I don't like what you do. And so, all right, let's jump on in and get to these battles. And so, feeling pretty good today. Hand, still doing okay. Band-Aid flesh-colored today. It's not Chiefs-colored. You go to the local pharmacy, you want Chief-colored hand tape. They don't fucking have any. You have to get flesh-colored. Well, it's white male flesh-colored, right? That's the white privilege coming through when you go, and it's just referred to as flesh colored. I guess if you're expected to be white male at our local at our local pharmacy, they're at least working on that a little bit these days. I know I've been there and I've seen flesh colored for if you're not white. You don't have to just assume everyone in the world is white. You can get flesh colored band-aids for the other ethnicities and such, and so progress. But anyways, back to the action. We did hang on to a 3-drop just to kind of ensure that we would have something. We mulliganed into action because we're professionals out here, and looking pretty strong. Looking pretty strong. We're going to have a nice Merciless Hunter hook onto the Ballistic Bot. If he wants to Ignition to protect it, I'm more than fine to Shapestone into this with action. Just go ahead and try and take it down. Chunk in for big damage here. Here comes. Boom. Uh-oh. Doing stuff, Mystic Shots. Okay. Not ideal. It's not the best time in the world to be a 2-health unit. I guess, after the era of Pokey Stick, it feels a little bit better to be a 2-health unit, but our bro did not survive. I think we'll be doing just fine. I think we want to drop the Vagabond. I'm kind of looking at this as like, let's go into the next turn and just play a Station Archivist. See what turns up. I don't think we need to lead with the Rockhopper. Kind of want the Payday, but that's going to let us just flip our action. It's not the highest power card we could be doing, but I think it's fine. All right, let's see what we hit. Challenger. I think that's where we want to be. He's never going to be big enough to take down Victor, but he can challenge down this Mountain Goat, get it off the board. His block with the 2-1 sucks. His block with Victor isn't very good. It doesn't kill anything. I think this looks good.
Cannot hold us down.
I guess technically, I forgot we were going to flip our action. We could have given all our units +1 attack and then hooked in the Victor. That feels a little ambitious. I think this is fine. Scout, we're just gonna get blasted about dumb stuff next turn. What do we got here? Beam? That's a pretty perfect draw. Pretty perfect. Boom. Right on your nugget, Victor. Right on your nugget. Alright, cool. That's pretty slow. Been seeing a lot of these Invoke cards turned around these days. I didn't think Invoke cards are good. you got to remember back to the days when everyone just bitched about Invoke. You thought you thought Targon, or you thought Shurima was the only thing to bitch about. You come from a classical era of people just bitching about all the Targon cards. But let's get ourselves into combat here. I mean, these units all kind of suck. We could add in the Waking Sands, but I don't feel like that adds enough to our situation. This is a pretty healthy chunk in. Okay. Interactivity. Station Archivist will have to be close enough. He's like far away from just killing us with elusives, but I'd like to find a way to kill his stuff if we can. Here I'm going to Lucky Find onto the Vicarum Bruiser. He typically wants to either be picking up double stun or picking up +3 damage, and if he picks up 3 damage, I don't want to lose our biggest unit. We can save this Shapestone for next turn. 2 health. Okay. Stop it there, my dude. Ha! Look at that. Look at Bust calling his shot, my dudes. It's not my first rodeo. All right. Gets double stun in hand, that's fine. Might find ourselves needing to just like overwrite the Bruiser, but let's give him a chance to play some cards. So how do we feel about overriding the Bruiser? I really want to be getting like a full board attack next turn. And so I think this is fine. Beam or duel. Duel is good enough to take down Aphelios without losing all of our mana. I think that's fine. We have a combat trick in hand in case he tries to do weird shit like play a Pale Cascade. I think this is good. Is that manifest? No, it's a playability. Desert duel, my dude. Dueling in the deserts, getting wrecked by action. Boom, level up stuff. Got it. So what do we want to do? Do we want to draw some cards? Do we want to boost our champions? We don't actually have Vi yet, so I'm not like amped about the +2/+2 spell shield to our champions, but probably want to do the Absolver Resurrection, right? It's like we're never going to lethal next turn, but we do get our 5/5 back, and we can get his ballistic bots into combat. I think I'm on board. Why is this so? Why didn't what? Why wasn't our Vicaran Bruiser our strongest unit? Come on, game. Did I read that wrong? I've been known to create a 0-cost copy of the strongest ally that died this game. Why isn't our 5/5 the strongest ally? Did he not? Oh, we overwrote it. Okay. Okay, it didn't actually die. Gotcha. Gotcha, game. Do we want to drop this? Like, we need some stuff to die so that when action strikes, we get our Warlord's Horde. All right.
Watch your head. Rob them blind. Villains beware. I turn it like so.
It's just like if he drops a Victor, this feels really bad. I guess he can like get out of this stuff if he wants to. Okay.
One star's whoopsie is another spark.
I get the guards, Bob gets the goods.
All right. So much for those strikes. Uh-oh. Here's the worrisome things. Where's this shit even come from? He's just actually playing it? Submersible is actually just straight up in his deck? Jeez. Okay. Okay. Are we going to get a Loose Devout next turn? Not just yet. God, this shit's annoying. So, do we need to, like, spend any of this stuff pre-combat? Because we're going to spend 13 mana taking down a Submersible. Oh, it would just be the Shape Stone. I could see an argument for taking down the Golden Sister, but I think even if we take down the Sister, there's a chance we don't win the game next turn. Sure. Not the biggest deal at this point. Action's already come down and cycled through. Okay. All right, Profiteer. We'll see what you can do. Victor. Okay. You got something cool in here? Absolutely, you do not. It is a certainty. These are not good abilities. The +1/+1 feels pretty bad. Right, it's still just gonna die to a Golden Sister. I guess we do have the Shape Stone if that's where we need to take it. Let's just go with tough. Ugh. Sucks.
We're not taking it. We're taking it back.
groan out some sad noises and move on. I could see an argument for like not playing the Vagabond, like the Rockhopper. We don't care about the Roiling Sands, and it could be relevant as the game kind of like winds down here, getting this Warlord's Palace. But I don't think we're ever going to tick it down from 8. I don't want him just getting a good block with the Sketcher onto the Rockhopper. As it stands, his only like really good block here is like Victor onto one of these smaller units, and so I think it's fine to just throw down the 3/3, give up on the Warlord's Horde, get an attack in here, and then maybe get to do something with the Waking Sands on our next attack. Can we ever just win the game this turn? Hang on. If we hit for like Rockhopper and Chronomancer, if he just like comes down and blocks all of our biggest units, then yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Wipe it all. You are beneath me. We have no quarrel.
Interesting. Oh, I mean, it feels like we're ahead, right? Our units are arguably better than his. We have 2 cards to his 1 card.
If it's made of sand, I can write.
All right. Desert Duel. Okay, that felt positive. I think we probably want to pick up the Absolver soon. Gives us a way to just overwhelm through the game. It's like a little scary taking the Absolver into the next turn.
With the power of time, the possibilities.
But I think this is okay. I mean, he lost out on Hush. Interesting. So let's Desert Duel with our 2/3. His Golden Sister will fall to 2 attack. The 2 attack won't kill our Chronomancer. He's going to need a Pale Cascade or something to survive this. Okay. Okay. Doing stuff. Now we can hook the Sump Dredger with the smaller unit. Try to get the Waking Sands in. Might have done it, fam.
It can be undone.
It's like enough to me. Just wanna hook the Sump Dredger with something that'll kill it in case something goes wrong here, right? It's kind of scary if we hit it with the Chronomancer, and then he has a removal spell. But I think we should be in good shape now. We're going to draw 3 cards next turn. That should be enough to overwhelm. We want to just pick up our strongest unit instead, or draw 2 random cards.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
Discards Hush, picks up a random thing. It's like I almost want the guaranteed unit, but we have like so much stuff in our deck, just like on as far as top end is concerned. we still got all these Mystic Shots as well with our opponent at 1. I think that's something pretty reasonable to consider, but I think this game is done. Something cool. Got him. Boomed him real hard. All right. Mark that record of 1-0. GG, my dude. So yeah, I told everyone in the previous videos, cut the old hand with cutting up a sandwich. That was not my finest moment, but man, I had to get a tetanus shot. Now it's like whenever I lift my shoulder, it just fucking hurts. I've had one before, but I didn't remember it hurting like this much. Just like sore, it doesn't like hurt. But the thing that made it like really delightful is I ran into a fucking wall today. Like I know I sound like I'm not really a capable human between cutting myself, fixing a sandwich, and now running into walls and stuff. But you know, it happens. I survived it. It just didn't feel good. So, so that's our lesson for the day. Is if you know, if you catch the old tetanus shot, then maybe don't run into walls. All right, man. Drew up a second beam. I wanted to hang on to a beam here because it's like pretty realistic to just like pop Echo early, especially for just 2 mana and we don't have to like miss out on a ton. I didn't really want to draw a second beam. I want another unit, but this is what it is. I mean, immediately drew Mystic Shot as well. But we should be ready. We're ready to deal with old Echo here. Sending back to the sump or whatever they call the netherworld in in the lands of Arcane. Sure. Is it the sump? Can't remember. Curious when the next Arcane comes out. Maybe we'll get our free Arcane skin in the next week or so, and then they'll release a new season. Oh, this sucks. Yeah, hopefully he'll play something that we can like pop with some of this mana. He's not going to do it. All right. Like, Zillion's such a terrible target for this stuff. He's not a champion that we ever like care about. He's just basically a landmark. But I don't think we can pass the turn with a hand like this and just let it happen. And now it's like, at least if we draw another useless card like a Payday, banking the mana doesn't feel as horrible. Okay. This is just a really awkward-ass draw. Alright, not going to try and pop this one. I want to most certainly play Vi next turn. He's 1 predict away. So this might get a little awkward. We're going to have to see how this plays out. Mystic Shot is dangerous, right? If we try and pop Echo with the Mystic Shot and then he... there he goes. Drops the Feral Prescience or something, then we're in a bit of a bind. He picked up both Hexite Crystals already? Fucking people. Alright, dude. Well done. He's predicted twice since he shuffled the crystals into his deck and hit both of them already. I don't know. I don't know where you get all this luck. We never get lucky. It never happens with anything that we ever do. And so... wherever the fucking luck store is, if this guy could point us towards it, I'd love to find it. Just get a little nugget of what's going on in there. All right, well, let's boom him, Vi. Gonna get you that payday you deserve. All right, this guy's taking hours to take his turn. We did. I did get the weight tracker updated. We just crossed the 100-day threshold. It feels pretty good. Been doing good with that. Usually the safe way to go about weight loss is about 1 pound a week. We're like right in the mix of that across the average, like 14 some pounds. I'm doing like reasonably bad this week. We had like a date day with the wife the other day, and then she's going out of town, so I'm just going to eat like a glutton while she's gone. But as soon as the weekend's over, I'll get back into the thick of it. I've got pretty good, feeling pretty good in terms of willpower and pretty good in terms of how things are going, and so I'll just continue on with it. But here, should be able to flip a Vi. We'll snatch up the Overwhelm. We're going to be 1 card short of the flip. Fuck. Slightly awkward, but it's okay. He's not playing any of his cards, which is a little scary.
Hit 'em where it hurts. Trouble coming at ya.
Not exactly sure what that's supposed to entail. Crystal just does 1 to Vi. Of course, we lose our action. It's fine. More time bombs. So we'll take the damage to the face, but Vi's tough protects from those. Not sure how far away they can like burn us out from. But yeah, I'm getting so hyped for this. Just hyped for Getting Fat weekend. I don't know if you all have this place called Jack in the Box where you live. We didn't have them in West Virginia. We got them out here. But if you ever want to go and get like a hamburger and a taco and an egg roll at the same place, you can hit up the Jack in the Box. The thing with them is they got curly fries. It's one of my weaknesses. Like I'm typically an Arby's guy, but ever since I found the Jack in the Box, we go for the curlies, and then you get like a box of little tacos. Fucking choice. Definitely gonna be smashing one of those, and then you gotta get the barbecue out here. So as the wife doesn't like to just eat plates of meat. You know, you don't want to go to the restaurant and just get like an $18 plate of meat. Blows my mind. I know, probably blows your mind as well. But I got to go enjoy one of those this weekend as well. Just meat plate. Go to a place called Joe's, the best meat place in the land. It's in a gas station. It's fucking delightful. But definitely be smashing a little bit of that as well. But here it feels like we're pretty safe. We have the double Mystic Shot to take down the Voice of the Risen if we want. I'm going to play the Waking Sands just to try and shut some of this down. Let's see if he plays his Crystal to take the Waking Sands down. If he does, it's okay. Just going to alter how we do our blocks a little bit. Does it? Do we change our mind and look to play the Absolver? He can attack with the Voice of the Risen to the right, which is slightly awkward, but I think this is okay. He's only going to hit us for 2 damage this turn. And we also get the Vi flip while we're at it. Have to block drop border. So we want to do one of these. Vi lives and flips. This shit dies. We take 2 and fall to 4. No guarantees in terms of winning here, but Vi's ready to slam in. We can give her +6 attack next turn if we want, which is enough to kill through the Fallen Feline. Just how do we feel about being that all in? I mean, we need to do it pretty quick. We're going to run into problems with getting burned out. Oh, we just draw the Absolver. That should do it. Oh no, what's this? Okay. I'm not sure how bad and poorly this can go. We'll get the 5 strike because she's attacking. We're coming in for 19 as it is. I think we should be okay here, but I do not want to see them like doing predicts and stuff. Just fucking die. You got your luck nugget with the Hexite crystals. You don't get any more. That's all you do. All right. But yeah, that's what those little numbers are down at the bottom left of the screen. I know we're starting to pick up new viewers and new subscribers and stuff since people apparently play Constructed for some reason instead of just playing Expedition all the time. And so if you're ever wondering what those little numbers were at the bottom, I got fat, and so I'm not really hype about it. But between getting married and COVID and then the big kicker and like quitting smoking, I shot up to 260. And that was way too much for me. I usually limit myself to 225. And so I said, no, thank you. I have to lose all this. And so as a little, New Year's-y kind of thing, we said we'd come out here. And 235 is the target weight. I suspect I'm probably just going to stick to it for the rest of the year. But 235 was the goal for the starting of the weight loss. So we're cruising right along at 244.4. Another 10 pounds to go and we'll be right there. So if you want to join in, you're welcome to. If you started with us, gave up, that's okay. You started with us and gave up and want to start back in, that's cool too, Do what makes you happy. All right. So which version was this Victor, Vi, and Lee Sin? Okay. We should be good with these 3/3s. The 3/3s are usually pretty healthy against these style of decks. You can't play Victor this turn, and then we have to start worrying about 4 health units after this one. Oof. Sure. So do we ever just attack with everything? Like, he can get the value block onto the Treasure Seeker. We do have the Mystic Shot in the background. It feels a little early for that. I like hanging on to the Mystic Shot in case we need to try and pop off one of his champions that matters. Oh my god, to lose another one? We lost another keyboard skate. This pisses me off more than anything. It's like I've just got to quit buying stuff from Razer. Like, I don't know. That's probably what you get for just like not buying Logitech anymore. I don't know like when the Razer stuff went downhill, but like I've gone through like so many mice now, and it's like it's I can afford keyboards, but I kind of like feel like $150 keyboard or whatever this thing costs should last a little bit longer than it has. Like, shit's frustrating. Here it is. This little glued piece of rubber right here. So whenever I push on my keyboard, it just starts fucking moving. Oh man, I don't know if I can make videos anymore, guys. I got to get out of here because this keyboard's going to ruin me. All right, we just won't use it for a moment. Okay, pretty good space for a bruiser. We can desert duel something and get the lucky find. We can still hook Victor and do a lucky find. I'm curious as to why he would just slam Victor onto the board when we have the thing, but just going for Vi plays. So what's our angle here? I think Ignition is slow, Poros are slow, Hexcore is slow. The thing I don't want to have happen is him get Vi up to 10 and strike in this combat. And so, like, we can try and take her down post-combat with the Vicaire and Bruiser. But I think we just hit here. Doesn't really feel like a game-winning kind of plan, though. Alright, it's probably just too risky.
Wonder how much this is worth.
It's only got 1 mana, though. We should be fine to get this shut down. What's he going to play, like a Daring Poro now? Or he play an Ignition? Yeah, we're fine. So the new question that we want to go for here is, what do we lucky find, right? If we hit +2 attack on the Vagabond, I think that's where we want to go anyways, is on the Vagabond, right? Because what's going to happen is we'll either hit +2 attack, then we can use the Vagabond to take down Vi, or if we miss, then we're going to have to use the 5/2 to take down Vi, and you know, we're going to want to boost one of our units anyways, and so we can go over to the Vagabond here. I think that's fine. Let's go with Spell Shield. This is going to be the new unit that we're boosting. Now we're going to go for the Desert Duel. Pick Vi. Rip Vicaire and Bruiser, but you give us another lucky find. Very nice of you. Just push the button, dude. Just push the button, dude. You don't have any manas. Oh shit, what is this? She's gonna get -2 health. She won't flip. Okay. That was scary. The shit started happening. I was like, oh my god, what's he doing? He does have a card for 0. We were okay. Glad we didn't get into combat though, or she would have flipped. So now the dude's most certainly gonna switch into Poro Plan. I mean, I don't know if we can beat Poro Plan, but we've at least ended the immediate concern. And we'll just go with Overwhelm. I don't think plus health is really going to matter here. Does he have another one? Why else is it pausing? Does he really just have the third Poro Cannon in hand? I guess you can turn off that feature that stops the auto pass, but seems like we're gonna just see a board of five Poros this turn. This hand doesn't do shit. This is a bit unfortunate not having any champions, but oh, just the other Vi. What does it say? +2 attack from Vault Breaker. Okay. I mean, she's gonna hit, and then if he has the other Poro Cannon in hand, then she's most certainly gonna flip as well. He's gonna play a one mana card and then play the Poro Cannon. We can take her down in combat. We just can't stop her from flipping. Do we want to spend a piece of this? Probably need to. If we're going to look to be playing the 2 Waking Sands next turn, we don't want them... Well, he's going to have the blockers for them either way, I guess, but... Okay. This is so bad. So far. So super slow. So let's see here. Let's play an Absolver. Get the relic. Predict draw. Beam? I think it is. I just feel like if he gets to untap with Vi... Well, I don't know. I don't think we beat an ambush either way. Maybe that's the problem here. We're just so far behind. We haven't drawn any of our good cards. Like we've drawn all Treasure Seekers and Absolvers and... stuff like that. We haven't hit any of our high-powered stuff except for that one Bruiser. It's been kind of awkward. Time trick, sure. Robin Blonde, get in there, my girl. Holy shit, he blocks. Alright, I guess the ambush was off the table. He lets his ignition go. So weird. Alright, we drew a Vi, but she has no bonuses. You got some work to do, girl.
Master yourself. Master your enemy.
Do we ever get somewhere with
The possibilities are endless.
playing Rite of Negation on this ignition? It's like he's got 3 cards in hand, and you're just kind of trying to make him have another spell. Yeah. This Lee Sin right here isn't scary, but it's going to kill us on our next turn. Okay. Not excited about what's happening here. Nothing about this game has gone particularly well, though.
My lands need me. Prepare yourself.
Vi stands for vicious.
Vi stands for vicious. Let's get him, girl. Alright, ready with the Vault Breaker. I'm bringing it. Bringing all I got. The Thunder's coming through this turn. Okay. GG. It's a little too awkward. We drew all of our bad cards. Didn't draw any of our champions. It sucks to say it that way, but I think that I'm curious, like how often a stat like that works, where our opponent drew 2 Vi's, a Victor, and then a Lee Sin, so they drew 4 of their champions, and then we drew our champion on the next to last turn of the game, and then put one on top right there at the end. And so, not to say that that's a good or a bad matchup, but when it's like the power level of the champions are, it's like the full build around capabilities of the decks, and it's very rare that cards like Green Glade Duo come and outdo the power of your champions, but just drawing 0 is usually pretty terrible. This is what it is. Variance happens. Anyway, round 4. Battle begins. Bound to be epic, I'm sure. I assure you this might be the most epic game you've ever seen in your life. Calling the shot, you hit her here first. Probably just going to be somebody who doesn't like to have fun. They're going to get in the way of what we're trying to do. Brutal. All right, the young Yargle. Bring in the Victor Fizz. Let's do it. All right, this is not much of a keeper. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's like, I don't know if it's just like the makeup of the cards we selected or what, but it seems like we're really struggling to hit a 2-drop. Kind of want to play some more, but I decided to go with the full mulligan this time instead of hanging on to a 3. It worked. we did it. Your mileage might vary, but as far as ours go, got it. We'll go ahead and try and take this trade. This small unit will trade with our Rockhopper anyways, and so let's just go ahead and get it off the board. And the slightly awkward space here, you can't hit any 0 mana spells off the Station Archivist, and so we don't really have anything to do with it. It is a non-zero amount of tempting to just go ahead and drop a Waking Sands, given that our opponent's either going to have to like interact with it poorly, but I think I've convinced myself not to do it. We'll just lead off. We'll just bank all this mana, then play a Station Archivist next turn. Right, this isn't really like a prime unit to try and take down with the Rockhopper. Okay, that wasn't a generated spell. So he just loses out. Was it not? He just hit the Pokey Stick? It didn't say created by the Station Archivist. It just said Pokey Stick on it, but I didn't see him discard a Fleeting. Did he just completely whiff? Huh. Well then. What we got here? Looks like we're going for the Payday. Load up Vi. Pretty good. So like pretty much anything's good here. If like at the end of the day all we want to be able to do is take down the Station Archivist and have our unit not die, then any bonus health, any tough, any +0, +2, all of those would be good enough. We'd have preferred to hit like quick attack or something, but it's okay that we didn't. Vi's up to 5 attack now. Ready to take down Victor. That's where we want to go. We don't have to like completely boom with Vi. I want to interact with this Victor. We could technically like get away from this with just like trying to double Mystic Shot Victor, but I think we should go for the combat. The Lucky Find doesn't seem credible here. All in on taking down this Vi. I think it's okay. Is that how we want to do it? Or do we just like give up on the combat, hook in the Archivist, and leave Vi back? I don't think I'm a huge fan of that. Let's just swap out champions. We could have gotten out of this. We could have played the Absolver, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be a winning play. It's just pretty slow. Like if he has another burn spell behind or something, it just gets feels kind of wasted. Fury. Opponent knows what that's about. We hit Fury like every time, man.
Behold me now, hairless apes.
All evolution will converge to machines.
Okay. scout on Victor. He shouldn't be attacking this turn anyways, but he can turn to scary mode real quick and we don't have an answer for him. Paydays? Alright. No spell shield. I'd like to be able to get greedy here and then just try and take Victor down with a like a quick attack challenge here. Depends on what we're able to find. We find Challenger. How do we feel about that though? We can like it's pretty terrible if he has like a stress defense or a wallop. I'm kind of thinking like why don't we just hook Niandroid with the Bruiser? See if he wants to like get involved in combat with his own Victor, and then we'll come in and try and just like double Mystic Shot his Victor down this turn. Let's see what's he got, a Mystic Shot? Okay. Feels like we're falling like further and further behind, but we'll just chalk it up to another one of these games where opponents draw more champions than us, right? That's the only thing that could ever be the problem. What do we got? I think we're just going for the +1/+1. Overwhelm's not unappealing, but get ourselves out of Mystic Shot range.
Would you look at this place?
Oh. Oh god, we're just dead, aren't we? He's just gonna ambush a Papercraft Dragon on us? Awesome. Awesome. Well, this was a fun game. That was pretty fun. Huh. Okay. Don't really have anything to do. Our hand is pure garbage. But give it a shot. I mean, maybe we got too aggressive with our Vi. If we're going to be out here trying to play like the physical card Payday into our deck, maybe we just have to hold on to Vi until we can try and load her up with the abilities. Why are these people doing this where they don't attack with their elusives? It's mind-blowing to me. Alright, well this is about to go poorly. Just FYI. This is not good. Oh god, we just completely whiffed. Alright, she's big enough to take down the Ballistic Bot now, but if we like miss on Challenger here, we're in a pretty bad spot. And then it's like, even if we do hit Challenger, like, is it really that interesting to take down the Ballistic Bot? He's just gonna get the Papercraft Dragon back. I don't like it. I don't like what was happening there. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, so I'm not sure if my analysis on this is exactly correct. I don't remember back to all the games, but we're 1-3 at the moment. I feel like the game we won, we played action on turn 2, and then the 3 games we lost, we either didn't draw action or didn't play them on turn 2. I think that's a pretty accurate assessment of how these games have gone. Uh-oh. I couldn't tell if that's coming through the mic. Here we go. Opponent has been found. All right, our first Sun Disk of the day. Surprised people are still playing this. Aren't people tired of doing this yet? It's like I don't know how much time you all have in your lives, but I don't have the time to watch like 8 minutes of animations every game. So I'd choose not to, you know. All right, he's bringing it. Feels like a pretty low value play, but sure. We can drop action, it'll shut down the attack here, and then we could still open with the Rockhopper next turn to threaten him a little bit with the Roiling Sands. It's good.
L'Astonage Lemay buys me a new sail.
you got for us, Broheim?
Sun's beneath me and wind's behind me. Quick hands
Okay.
make
Well, it's a safe action attack into the Rockhopper. That's fine. We got the good Roiling Sands hit onto our Treasure Seeker. This all looks pretty decent. Are you kidding me? Okay. Plays the shit. All right. I don't know. I've just been getting like boomed by weird cards coming out of these decks here recently. Between I had a horrible one with the Spirit Fire. I think I mentioned it a video or so ago. Running into that Garbo here. It is what it is, I guess. All right, Chronomancer active. I don't really want any of this stuff, but gotta like take something out of it. I don't think we want to just like random draw. I'm leaning towards just picking up the Shape Stone. It's a cheap and effective combat trick.
Sand and blood.
Vi's pretty far away from doing something, so we'll get the Karen Bruiser on board. Maybe we'll play the Bruiser and our opponent will just drop a Zir. We'll get the we'll get the duel in.
I get the goods, Bob gets the goods.
All right, ready for the battles. You gonna let us do it, my dude? You know, let us swing in here. It's feeling pretty scary. I mean, his Xerath should be flipped. He is. He's got the 4 landmarks at this point. Azir is really close, and so wouldn't surprise me if he would just be like able to play Xerath and then play Azir next turn and just win the game. But doesn't seem to have all the pieces. This is like his 3rd or his 4th predict, so it's a little odd in that sense, but.
It's not safe.
Okay. We got boomed pretty hard by that Scrying Sands. I'm just leaning towards quick attack on this one. It doesn't help if he tries to hook our Bruiser next turn, but we really just want to go with Spell Shield. It doesn't feel very good. Okay.
My name will echo through the ages.
Uh-oh. Who thinks he anticipated the incoming desert duel right when his Azir was about to flip? I'm gonna assume opponent does not expect this to come in. As we're out here saying, look at him playing Scrying Sands. He's like, oh no. Bust really bringing it with the with the desert duel. Okay. Well, that should buy us quite a bit of time.
Bask in the sunlight.
Can't play that champion this turn. Get our Vi going.
Punchline.
The unfortunate piece here is we can't open and get this Vi to flip, but we can come in and boom with the 2 Waking Sands. Sure.
Wonder how much this is worth.
I don't think we want to give her +1/+1. She's gonna have like the health anyways. Probably a little safer just to go for quick attack. All right, and what do we get here? We'll want the Absolver. She's not going to get us a kill this turn, but it'll get us a kill on our next attack. It might be enough. I don't think we'll have enough mana to pull it off if we're going to try and play double Waking Sands this turn, but should be good on the follow-up attack, assuming we make it that far. It should be pretty tough for him to like flip the Sun Disc. Like he can play a Xerath this turn and play a Azir next turn and then not have the time to do everything. I don't think he can play both champions this turn. Kind of risky. Oh, I guess it's not that bad. There's the Azir. Oh my god, are we gonna have to watch all this? This is the most frustrating thing in the game now. We're gonna play Waking Sands. Just go ahead, fix yourself a tea, whatever people do in Europe. Oh my god. What is it? I was watching it. The recording is it was at the 49-second mark. I want to see how long this takes. Just to sit here and watch all these dumb animations. Alright, here comes some more. Pretty awesome. Nope. It is in fact not. Are we done yet? Alright, it was just under 40 seconds. Never get that amount of my life back. So with this, we are going to quick attack down Xerath. We can't interact with the Azir well enough, but if he blocks, we can technically kill him. Man, did all the animations broke the deck tracker as well? Not surprised. Surprised that kind of annoying shit happens. This would have been really sweet if we had Overwhelm. Okay. I think we should be able to stop, like, most of the landmark destruction. Or at least, like, a piece of it with the Rite of Negation. I think that might be okay. Oh, shit, we just lost our Vi? Where did that come from? Oh, the Hourglass got it? Okay. Okay. Can't believe that we missed that. I guess we should have taken down the Azir. I was completely oblivious to that. The thing coming down and also killing our unit. I should have known that was going to happen, but whoops. All right, something else to get salty about. But yeah, it's kind of the unfortunate situation, and trying to play Vi and the lucky finds. It's you can get the guaranteed elusive with ambush. You can get the guaranteed overwhelm with stuff like the Riven Sword. We've really, you're just at the whims of what falls in terms of trying to get Vi overwhelm. It's a lot easier with, like, if you actually draw your action and you're able to get him flipped. He's one of the easier champions to flip in the game, but man, brutal. All right, but here we go. We got a good early start here. See how this handles up against Ezreal Caitlyn. This should be one of the worst matchups for us. I think, like, the Sundusk matchup shouldn't be that terrible. If it was kind of on my radar that perhaps we should deal with, perhaps we should play around a shapes that stupid combat trick, then kind of is what it is. But I'm gonna take this aggressive. It's gonna put the point of damage on our action. It's like, a non-zero chance that he has another way to deal a single point of damage, but like this is how we can come in and try and win these games, just chunking in this tons and tons of damage. It's not as good on defense, and we do have another grappling hook in hand, but I think we can get the removal spell out of this one and feel pretty decent about it. All right, get us that flip. Action doing his thing. It's pretty tempting to just burst out the relic. So assuming he, like, it's I guess it's kind of easy for him to have, like, mystic shots and stuff, but okay. God, another Payday. Alright. We should have a board that can make decent usage out of it. I mean, we already have the Absolver to get our Vi leveled, but I think he should struggle with what we're presenting here. The way that this would be worse is if he has, like, a Station Archivist into Mystic Shot or something. But this is okay.
The world's a big place. Let's see all of it.
There's an Ezreal Mystic Shot as well. So we didn't get any damage in, but Vi is one of the more challenging units for the deck to deal with, since it has so many sources of like 1 and 2 damage. Pretty tough to get through the tough.
Nothing's more exciting than an unsolved mystery.
We get to open with Vi, we might be able to kill next turn. What's over Peacemaker? Why wouldn't you just put it on the Merciless Hunter? I don't know about that one. That was a little suspect. Alright, we should be good to win this one. Get all the bonuses, girl. Spell shield, why not? There it is. Feeling good about it. Scorched Earth. Is it gonna have 2 of them? Fucking kidding me. Alright. I guess that's why the Peacemaker came in. We hit for 4. Still not in like the worst of shape. We're pretty healthy in terms of this Ezreal killing us. We have Vagabond we can drop. Feels like I don't know. It feels like we're just gonna lose this one now. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Like we have to have the Absolver for next turn. So it's like he's gonna hit with the Ezreal, get to shoot our Merciless Hunter. We can't do anything about it. Yep. Man, I thought we were gonna be able to take this one down. This is getting pretty bad here. Uh-oh. Here we go. The Peacemaker. Yeah. Don't feel like we'll be able to get an Absolver kill through this. Bruiser's a big boy. It never ends, does it? Never ends. Gonna come in for 7 damage. I believe in you, deck. Come on. Okay.
Wipe it all. It doesn't add up.
Oh, I guess it makes sense. We have to chunk in this damage now. The only way we're going to get ourselves out of this is if we pick up another Mystic Shot or something. I don't feel like we're going to get another combat. Takes him to 5. Oh man, I thought we were going to get him to 4. Okay. So we're probably going to have to bring back our biggest unit. Otherwise, he's just going to attack and kill us. So the stun is fine. Sentinel's Horde. Oh, it doesn't immediately put it on the board either. That's kind of a problem. So can we ever get away with the draw 2? He's got 2 cards in hand. We can play Vi. He's hit for 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, we're just dead. We were just dead that way. We're going to have to Mystic Shot one of his units. The Saintstone Charger? Should have known. Should have known. Oh man, I thought this was going to be it. I thought we were going to pick up a victory. I'm feeling ever lucky. Like I was talking in the last video that I know that we're going to like 08 one of these videos eventually. And I felt like we got really, really lucky in that last one after starting out 0-4. But man, this deck feels like it's much closer to being in the ultimate loser territory. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, did we do it? Did we do it?
I don't need a plan.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He's just gonna burn us out, isn't he? Probably going to. Probably just gonna burn us out. But we're doing the cool stuff this game. I don't even care, dude. We're just bringing it. Here it comes. Here's my offering. He's just gonna be like burned to face. Oh, this is so bad, isn't it? All right, take one. Okay. We do it? There you go. As Crash Override says in the esteemed movie Hackers, mess with the best, die like the rest. Got him. Fucking A. All right, on to the next one. Give me them LPs. I deserve that. Not like quite. God, fix your game, Riot. Why does the cursor just disappear sometimes? I guess we get to look at this. Take it. It's not. I mean, it's not. You can't see all my extra monitors, but oh, almost hit the continue button. There we go. Did I get it? So done. Oh, it's just gonna be completely gone again. All right. All right, we're back. Everything's been restarted. Small indie company. I wouldn't expect him to have the resources to figure things out, like keeping the cursor on the screen, and so I don't blame him. That should be my fault, not theirs. All right, into the next one. It's interesting to keep Vi here. Like when we have this like Vi Absolver draw, I think we want to hang on to the Vi just so she'll grow throughout the course of the game, then just get rid of the Absolver. See if we can't get some early game pressures on here. All right, the Absolver was meant to be. I think this is going to be our game where we take down the Sun Disk. You mulligan it away and immediately draw it. It's a psychological thing. It's just ready. It means it's ready for action. It says, you tried to get rid of me, but it wasn't the time for it. So I think we're good.
Don't want to die? Don't do terrible things.
Wash away all the troubleshooting.
I'm going to take you right down. You're going to get boomed. Good job, Action. What we got? Ooh, the Desert Duel. The Desert Duel is ready. Okay. Alright, the second action isn't going to get us anything. Close. We're close to the good stuff happening.
Thought there was something good to see.
It's kind of fucked up. Whatever, dude.
Give me the song of the rock.
I didn't want it anyways. That's the appropriate response, right? Fuck you, I didn't want it anyways. I figured Vi would be up to like 8 now. You gotta put in some more work here, girl. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, who's ready for this? Are you all ready to see this? Boom. Man, we'd be flipping Action this turn if he didn't have the removal spell for him. Too bad, my dude. Too bad. Yep. Ooh, almost clicked on that too quickly. Oh, I did click on it. Shit. What did we hit? The actual worst one? Perfect. Perfect. That's the way it should be, I guess.
Piltover Enforcer on the scene.
So now the real problem we have here is it's not so much that he actually got to come out and like kill our Action. It's just that the Absolver is not going to be flipped for like 100 turns, and so we can't get these strikes in. I don't think we have to worry about damages coming onto Vi. You could have a shaped stone. Fine.
Out of my way.
Wonder how much this is worth.
How much this is worth.
We live in
Alright, what you got, girl? Looking like a spell shield. There's not like too much that they can do to really damage her, but if we're going to be going all in with the Absolver, it feels kind of nice to have access to the spell shield.
Scores to settle, to kill. You know how it is.
Let's hear it!
Oh. I was ready to deploy my Mystic Shot. Probably should have just played the Chronomancer first, right? But it's okay.
When we look ahead, we know how to prepare.
Is he just like intending on using the Ambassador to block Vi? We're gonna Mystic Shot before the turn's over. And we can play this Absolver if we need to. I'd prefer to bank up all the mana so that we can try and make a Absolver play next turn. Do we even care about losing action? Like the thing I'm actually, well, we're making this play, right? The Vi block, and we are drawing the Absolver next turn. Okay, that's fine. She have to be attacking when she strikes. Okay, I didn't think it's her flip ability that has to be attacking on the strike to do the 5 damage. Okay, cool. There's the Absolver.
It can be undone.
Did I mess that up? Oh my god, I needed to play the card, didn't I? Shit. That was sloppy. Hopefully we don't lose this one now. He's gonna flip the Sundust next turn. I think we're okay, but that's kind of inexcusable there. We should have just ended that game with the Absolver. I just assumed it was over, so I didn't bother with the Oracle's Eye. Learn from my mistakes, fellas. Learn from my mistakes. That was not good. Oh my god, now we have to watch the animations. That's our loss for the day. Just okay, that was enjoyable. My bad, Riot. That was actually enjoyable. I loved watching that animation again. Too long. Way too long. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Okay.
I get the guards, Bob gets the goods.
Fuck's this thing do? Round start rally. We can beat that.
Steady now.
Oh no, we don't have the mana to replay Vi. Oh my gosh, we're just punting these things left and right. We can't do anything about Zerath. Does this thing just get destroyed? Enemies are vulnerable at round start. So we don't have to worry about the landmark blowing up.
Fun part.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we punted this one.
Quick hands make quick work. Vi stands for violence.
Is that... Enemy... Oh, just all enemies are vulnerable. It's not round start enemy is vulnerable. Okay. Sure. Why does that kill the deck tracker? That's so weird. Oh, that's our deck. The enemy's deck gets filled with the Emperor's deck, but it's weird that it still kills our tracker. Okay. Did we make our way out of this one? Certainly thinking on it. Got to figure out how to burst speed destroy his landmark. Alright, girl. It goes. End it. That gets rid of the overwhelm. Does her strike ability still count for any of this stuff? Oh my god, we have to keep playing this game? Oh, Jesus. Okay. What are we gonna do now? Just add dudes, I guess? Okay. That's 2 Waking Sands. Sure. So we're gonna lose our Vi. Alright, let's be real. This one's probably done at this point, but maybe we'll draw Mystic Shot and just get ourselves out of it. Doesn't appear to be the case. Fuck is this thing? Draw 2? Okay. Alright, so that one's on me. The opponent can have that one. I just got into autopilot mode there. I knew we had the Absolver. Should have played it. Should have checked the Oracle's Eye, is what it is. Did not win that game. But man, that certainly gets old watching the Sundisk video. I'm sure other people have complained about it more than we need to, but it's tough, right? In terms of, you know, that's one of like the really neat things that Riot has in the game. You get to see the cool and special thing whenever the champions level up, but I really don't want to watch 45 seconds of animations multiple times an hour. Like that was at least like, you know, like playing the World of Warcraft and having to watch like cutscenes and everything. You could at least skip the cutscene. Like I really just have no desire to watch that ever again. I wish there was a solution to it. But our last battle is upon us. We like to do 8 games in these videos. See if we can't redeem ourselves after our misplay in the previous one. This is one of the cards I was interested in with the strikes. Not so much that like I ever want to play the Desert Duet on the Forge Chief. Just, you know, for it's really not worth a card to get 1 spell mana back out of a strike. But, you know, kind of incidentally having the extra strikes in your deck and then having, you know, a target at some point. Kind of useful. Just ground up that mana a little bit. It's one of those cards that's like really, really powerful if you're on the odd attack, you play it on 1 and then your opponent just doesn't have a unit and you get multiple mana cheats out of it. But let's see how this goes. He plays Ignition, so he's probably not going to drop a Riven on us this turn. Riven would have been a bit of a disaster here, but looks like it's not a problem. Can't imagine he throws away the Ballistic Bob. Sure. All right, ready to boom.
Join the glorious evolution. The flashbacks will bow, great maker.
Okay, just get that out of here. We could have, like, used the vulnerable and tried to take it down with Profiteer. It's just, just get it out of here. Don't need to deal with that. These units are getting a little out of hand. If like the Victor gets to sit and he gets the Hex Core upgrade on everything, have to deal with the big units. Then not happy about it.
You know real value when you see it, my friend.
I'm gonna load up the Profiteer. I guess we have like a decision to make if he drops the Ignition first. Like if we want to try and hit Challenger, we'd want to hit the Vagabond. If we want to try and hit Quick Attack, we'd want to put it on the Profiteer. Well, if he's going to play Riven, we'll load up the Profiteer. Just garbage across the board. Trying to think, like this deck usually plays some like Mystic Shoddy kind of cards, but if we want Tough to be better than the Lucky Find, we have to get you know, 3 damage prevented, and he's not playing Caitlyn, right? If you're playing Caitlyn, you could see an argument for Tough, but I think the +2 attack's just going to be better here. Alright, here comes the Shapestone. Say, suck it, Riven. Take them damages. Can't wait. This is the last game in the video. I have to feel like we're due for a pretty choice desert duel. Maybe this will be it. Maybe this is the one.
Behold me now, hairless apes.
It's probably the best target we're gonna find. It'd be nice if we had a if we had a strike unit or something for this, but this is what it is. Probably just gonna go ahead and beam down his ballistic bot as well. We can't lethal next turn, but we can hit for like 8 with our 2 units, and then we can like always see what we hit with the Payday before combat starts. And so if we hit like +2 attack, we might just want to go all in. He's already played 1 Mystic Shot, so it's not super likely he has a second one. Perhaps is super likely. Now, what are the chances if we Payday, put a card on Profiteer, get to the Warlord's Palace, and then I think that's where we want to go. We want to just take the Sand Charger off of the Warlord's Palace and open. That's where we're going to go with this, but let's get our other stuff on board real quick. Making it likely spend mana on units. If we can shut down 1 unit with the Merciless Hunter, feels a little bit safer. I think we're doing it. I think we're doing it. All right. There we go. I feel much better now. 5 attack thing. Where are you, Sandstone Charger? Okay. Here it goes. Bust for the victory. Bust for the win. Mark it a W, squad. When do we start emoting? Like right now? Is this a good time? Drop the Echo. Drop the Mystic Shot. There we go. Emotes. Emoting early. We did it. Alright, alright. GG. Kicking it up to the 3 and 5. So, not horrible. Not horrible. I mean, some of those games were pretty soul-crushingly bad, but we got, you know, if we're going to call that Sundisk game where we skipped playing the Absolver a win, got ourselves back to 50-50, which is, you know, it's not good, but it's not bad. Yeah, and so, like, at least in terms of this deck, there's just way better things you could be doing now. I wasn't expecting this to be a big meta breaker or anything. I did want to kind of just get a feel how things were going to go with using these Paydays and using these Vi's, and as we kind of tried to experiment with the Desert's Duel. And so this is most certainly one of these decks as to where you gotta kind of keep it in your mind for the future, as this seems to be one of these abilities that we're starting to see out of Sharima, getting these bonuses off of the strikes. I'm kind of curious what Riot's deal was as they created the Brutality Kindred and Expedition, as to where it was supposed to be an archetype taking advantage of strikes. And if you look at the Shadow Isles side of the archetype, there were just no strike cards that were relevant. And as they've kind of like released some of these archetypes, like an Expedition, where we would see like Mentors. Mentors is a great example as to where they made that really shitty Mentors Fiora archetype. It looked really stupid. It was just like Fiora and single combat and the 1/4 elite unit, and then like Double Bird. And then once the new cards came out, they upgraded it to have all the formidable stuff. And if you look at something like Brutality Kindred. Like that's a really weird archetype where the idea is you're trying to get some kind of value out of making strikes. It makes a lot of sense for LeBlanc. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever for the Kindred. There's no strike units and Shadow Isles. And so it was like, well, what's your deal, right? What are you trying to do here? And so I don't feel like that was like really a lot of foreshadowing, but these strike cards are going to be more and more apparent in the future. And this feels like it is maybe just like one card away. Maybe that card needs to be a champion, but this combination of like Action, a real strike champion that isn't Caitlyn, along with the Bruiser and the Desert Duel, that's like a pretty good and reasonable collection of cards. And then it's also, you may get to look elsewhere, right? You may get to look to Noxus for more strikes or something. There could definitely be something there. It just doesn't exist right now at this point. And so, in terms of like the current meta in this deck and stuff, if you're wanting to play Action, there's certainly better things you can do. You can play Action Sivir is still one of the best decks in the format. You can play Action with any of the other champions if you want, but I think realistically, like when I was looking to play this deck, I just wanted to kind of be like, kept putting Demacia in it. It was like, well, I want to play Garen. He has a strike ability. And so it's like, well, if we're playing Garen, we're not going to play Desert Duel. We're just going to play single combats. We're going to play concerted strikes. It's just like all the good cards are already over there. And so if you're, realistically trying to be competitive, you're just going to look towards Action Sivir. And then if you're looking to get these big attacks in with Vi, you're much more like safe and efficient. Looking towards Ambush or looking towards Ghost or looking towards the Noxus cards like Might. You don't have to count on either flipping a champion for the Absolver or hitting on Payday to get that big hit in, right? Because we don't really care about flipping Vi. She's all about hitting for that initial 10 damage. And so if you don't have Overwhelm or Elusive, it's pretty tough to actually pull off. And as we could see here with this one, it was pretty tough to do. And so, nonetheless, I had a good time with this one. We had some real ups and downs. Don't think we'll be playing this again. Don't think we would recommend that you play it. But, if you want a different take on Vi or you want to try something a little bit different, then by all means, then go out there and have some fun with it. But that is going to do it for us today. So, hope everyone learned how to skip playing your Absolvers. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.